This video is Money Energy 10B, which means, of course, that there was a 10A. So this material is incomplete without listening to the previous lesson. This video contains continued homework relating to the lesson in 10A. Let's get into the homework. The first is regarding Erik Erikson's generativity. Erik Erikson's work is foundational to how we today think of human lifespan development. He felt that at the age of 40, and for more than a couple of decades thereafter, was meant to be a rich time of creation and community contribution. Erikson called that generativity. By the age of 40, your learning has turned to wisdom. Your energy is meant to be full, and you are using that energy to leave your mark on the world. We often joke about how everything after 40 or 30 even is going downhill. Never joke or let yourself speak like that ever again. If you do feel tired, there are reasons for that relating to probably not supporting your body enough. Your 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond are meant to be vital and fulfilling. Not to mention that these days 60 is the new 40. 40 is still part of youth. And if you've never experienced money previous to this part of your life, you absolutely can now. That's how my experience unfolded. Time hasn't been wasted, and you are not running out of time. You are at the perfect time to bloom and to serve. Let's move on to the next homework. Redecide your childhood development conflicts. If you feel constant mistrust, shame, self-doubt, guilt, compulsions, and inferiority, these may be signs that there were challenges to your psychosocial development before the age of 12. In other words, none of these things actually describe you. It just means there is some opportunity to redo what ought to have developed naturally at certain ages. P.S. These patterns, mistrust, shame, self-doubt, guilt, compulsions, and inferiority, interrupt cash flow. Development within a childhood family ideally results in a 12-year-old with trust in others and in themselves and the world around them, the ability to act according to their own will and authority, and a sense of general competence in the activities of life. And P.S. These patterns are conducive to cash flow. As we all well know, many parents didn't know how to help us develop naturally, and may have done many things to block our healthy growth and expression. This is not about blaming our parents who may have been doing their best with their own issues, but it is time to reparent yourself if needed. Erik Erikson described childhood development in a framework of the central conflict at each age. At each age, the human child naturally meets and has a passage of struggle generally throughout that time of that age. And struggle doesn't mean something bad happening, simply the struggle of growth. Depending on the outcome of that struggle, the child makes a decision for one hand or the other. This decision may not be conscious, but it lodges in the body and provides a pattern for further experiences and decision-making throughout life for the better or worse. For example, around the age of 3 to 5, a child is meant to engage in self-directed play. The result of that free play is meant to generate the ability to initiate, meaning to act according to their own will, ideas, and authority. The play is crucial, not simply the amusements of ignorant kids. A necessary feature of infancy is that each babe lives and acts according to their parents' actions. but beginning in toddler and young childhood, the human must gradually become a unique individual by their choices that differ from their parents. Those supporting the child, parents, preschools, etc., need to make room and opportunity for the child's play and the child's initiative. In other words, the child's decision-making of what they want to do with their own body and life. What can sometimes happen is that parents may introduce guilt into the child's psyche at this point, showing too much disappointment or too many rules. Children are extremely sensitive to adults' approval and emotional opinion at this stage in life, because they are still trying to get clues for how to live in this world. No, do it this way, or no, don't do that, it's not safe. In other words, while this small child has the capacity to initiate their own choice, they don't have the strength to overpower any veto an adult may make to that choice. Their choices can still be overpowered by another's choice. This is called permission and can be a blessing because the small child actually does, of course, need a great deal of guidance in many situations. It doesn't mean the parent was abusive if they introduced too much guilt and required too much permission. They may have meant well, and indeed it is quite the feat as a parent to keep a child safe and still allow them to free play. Another problem during this time period is that a child may consume an overabundance of media and of toys that don't provide for imagination. This is the time in life when a child is served best by playing with sticks and mud and cardboard boxes. This is the time when the child is full of questions. Why and how? There's still so much wonder in the world that the child is discovering brand new. In any case, by the time the child is approximately 5 years old, they will either retain, decide for their initiative and self-permission for the rest of their life, or they will decide for guilt for everything they choose to do, or enough guilt to stop them from doing anything, including creating and receiving money. So, redecide. If your pattern is mistrust, redecide for the pattern of trust, hope, and faith in the world and in other people instead of withdrawal from them. If your pattern is shame and doubt, redecide for the pattern of self-authority. If your pattern is guilt, redecide for the pattern of initiative, I will. If your pattern is inferiority, I can't, redecide for the pattern of I can. Of course, reparenting these patterns in yourself will take more than a moment. But begin to seek support, healing, and learning, and small actions you can take to begin to develop within you what has been stalled up until now. Here are some actions to get you started. 1. Give yourself permission, yes, for something you normally deny yourself. Nothing truly harmful, of course. 2. Go swing on a swing, slide down a slide, climb the monkey bars. 3. A baby and toddler want to lay hold on things in this world. A 2-year-old says, mine. Touch and lift objects in your environment and reacquaint yourself with the sense of how interesting each thing is. Enjoy what is yours. The next homework, accomplishment. From about the age of 6 up to about the age of 12, a child comes to know themselves as competent. They can do things. They can tie their shoe, they can ride a bike, they can do math, they can help their parents shop at the store. They are competent in the matters of this world and in the matter of accomplishing new things that interest them or that are asked of them. They gain refined motor skills in their body, writing, catching balls, etc. While these activities are natural and developmental and many children may not give it a second thought, later we come to call this kind of meeting the world courage. There is an element of comparison in this. My friends ride bikes, I can ride a bike. My dad bakes cookies, I am able to help him bake the cookies. Again, the opportunity is to fit with what others are doing as a vital part of the ways of the world. This is meant to be a way to enjoy what their family and friends also enjoy, and what their own body and mind enjoys. It's not meant to be a condemnation when a child finds that there may be some things they can't do or that are difficult to do. It is also the time when children start to learn how to handle things that don't go perfectly or that require persistence over time. Older children also unfortunately start to learn all the comparisons and differences in our world that we've created problems with, such as skin color and money and religion. In a younger stage, there's little to no capacity to comprehend these differences. The toddler sees the world only as an extension of himself and his emotions and his needs, and with a general love and acceptance. The older child is now capable of realizing that others feel and think differently, and that there is more world than just herself. This realization lends itself to learning how to be mean to other people, or how to be kind to the other, to the different, including oneself if instead the child has concluded that they are the different other. The culmination of this childhood developmental stage is that the child knows how they are the same and how they are different from those around them. These comparisons aren't necessarily real or good. The child's worldview could be full of wrong learning. Nevertheless, the child will build upon this comprehension to fashion an identity in their next stage, adolescence. If you would describe yourself as full of inertia, inferior, incompetent, and having no abilities, you have the opportunity to reparent yourself. It is important to provide experiences for yourself where it is obvious that you accomplished something. It doesn't need to be one huge accomplishment. Several smaller and routine accomplishments also serve. You may go back to the video in the series titled The Stages of Learning. Review and use the stages outlined in order to learn and accomplish something. Also, if someone invites you, or if otherwise some sort of accomplishment opportunity enters your field, if it has been your habit to say no, now say yes. Do you want to help with our fundraiser? Yes. Do you want to try fill in the blank? Yes. You don't have to feel as if you can do it. You just have to start, and then you will see that you have done it. And then there will be a feeling after. That is the emotional sequence for that stage of development. P.S. On the pathway to cash, you don't have time to nurse any sense of inferiority you may carry, as if you were providing a service to the world by staying out of everybody's way so you don't mess something up. This is simply a sign of immaturity. You will mature not into a sense of superiority, but simply a quiet sense of general competence for doing what you need and want to do, without judging better or worse about what others do, nor whether or not they are watching you in order to judge, as you imagine. All right, onwards to the next assignment. Imagination and ingenuity. Mid to older childhood is a time of imagination and invention. Whereas with accomplishment, we want to finish something and have it match whatever humans already know. Ingenuity creates new ways and new things, and imagination is open-ended and never finished and never the same. Tap into the imaginative side of you again. Keep an idea book and just play with the ideas as ideas. You don't ever have to do anything with these ideas. Write poems and stories. Watch the clouds and imagine what you see in them. Carve wood, paint, put jigsaw puzzles together. Build a robot or a sculpture out of trash. Play in sand, mud, or Play-Doh. Hum a little melody, or pick it out on an instrument. Run about with a pet. When was the last time you made something out of a cardboard box? If you have children in your life, play at their level with them. Meet the world as a game and as a wonder. Make something just to see what it does. It doesn't have to fit into the world as we know it, just for the sake of it. The next assignment. And by the way, if you are trying to actually move through this series as a cash flow development and not just listening from curiosity, I would listen and then do each of these assignments separately. Listen to the assignment, stop the video, work with the material for a few days, then come back to the video where you left off in order to be introduced to the next assignment. And you can back up and do that up to this point if you like. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Identity and passion and purpose. As you moved into your teen years, you were meant to take the material of all your childhood encounters and activities and begin to fashion an identity in order to answer the question, who am I? Of necessity, this means making choices other than what your parents would, or at least in some matters. It's a time to try on identities, even if they don't last your whole life. You don't have to conclude on the answers yet, just get knee-deep in exploring. You take on new roles and responsibilities and the consequences thereof. It's time to peek out of the curtain of your childhood home and customs and see what other families do, choose, and create. A young child plays in the here and now, but at adolescence, the past and the future become important in the choices one makes, particularly the future, as many choices during adolescence are made with an eye to the future. As you head into your 20s, or at least by the end of your 20s, your ideas of who you are and the work you will do in life become real and grounded and active on a daily basis. You live your purpose. In these years, you become who you are, and then share who you are with the world. Some of you listening will be in this stage of your 20s and early 30s. It's okay to have unanswered questions about your life and future. It's okay to meet some adversity, even some really tough stuff. But if you are completely confused and overwhelmed and take absolutely no joy in work, creation, service, and feel that you cannot stand and live in society under your own support, then you are probably developmentally stuck in this or a previous stage. You may have had parents make too many choices for you and not trust you to make different choices than them. You may have had no one accept your offerings, even if you got up the confidence to give them. I can't list all the ways this developmental stage could have gotten jammed up. In Stepping Stone 2 of Pathway to Cash, we will do quite a bit of work on service and purpose, so you don't have to completely figure that out at this point in terms of this pathway. But do reflect on the ages of 12 to at least age 25 and how they unfolded in your life. Think about choices you made. Think about choices you didn't feel you could make or were blocked from making in some way. Were you able to quest and try things out? For example, when I was a teenager, I had the opportunity to go on a rappelling activity, but my mother worried about my safety, so I was not allowed to go. I'm not saying she was wrong, but I've always wondered about the other me I would have been had I done that. I could think that I'll never know what I'm capable of on that level. However, I have redecided. I know that I can go rappelling anytime. I haven't done it yet. It's on my bucket list, but I do feel comfortable going there as soon as I can fit it in. Do you have things like that? the semester abroad you didn't do, the social activism opportunity you stayed home from, the kind of clothes you would rather be wearing, the clubs and groups you were too anxious to join. Start to permit yourself these options and go back and redo the exploring and the choices that you always wonder what was on the other branch of the fork in the road. Join clubs, shop your style, visit another place for a weekend, get involved in an issue you care about. I know you can't do all that in 1 week, but put yourself in the habit of rethinking and redoing what you feel you missed out on and that might have helped you know yourself. It's simply not too late, even if you were 60 or older. If you never took the chance to do you because you felt it too selfish or blocked in some way, then I hate to tell you, but you missed a development stage. You have to do you before you can give you. Some cultures have an initiation into adulthood and quests for young adults. If you didn't have a bar mitzvah or something similar, create a simple ceremony that invites you over the threshold from childhood to adulthood, from having to do what others choose to working out your own choices. Okay, next homework. Life's work, part 2. Even though in your 20s you made choices that established your life's work and course, at approximately the age of 35 or sometime thereafter, a natural rethinking occurs. This is not to be feared. It doesn't mean you made the wrong choices. All of your experiences are fertile material. But once you've been living and working and being for more than a decade, you have more knowledge about how that all turned out and what it means for you. It's possible that at this point in your life, about age 35, that you will change everything. Or you will take your work and other aspects of life that already exist to another level. You will have the capacity for more leadership. If you are this age, don't resist shaking things up a bit and reinventing yourself. Working through the Pathway to Cash course may help you with that reinvention. Next homework. Mature emotional regulation. An infant's emotions are regulated by the mother or caretaker. When the infant cries, the mother comes and soothes the babe or provides a need. This stage is crucial as a model for the new little being. She will draw upon that experience in a subsequent stage around ages 3 to 6, where the child learns to self-soothe and to regulate her emotions on her own, with continued guidance of parents or caretakers. In this world, there are many chronological adults who have no ability to self-soothe. The inability of a person to emotionally regulate themselves is one of the greatest immaturities present in this world. There are billions of humans who expect others to calm them when they're angry or to comfort them when they are afraid. As just 2 examples, they expect something or someone outside of themselves to accomplish that emotional regulation. My assignment for you on this issue is simply to notice your personal emotional habits. In future videos, we're going to talk a lot more about emotions and the part they play in your pathway to cash, and at that point, I'll give more in-depth assignments. Next homework. Mature paradigm. One of the greatest immaturities is to think that there is only one way to look at reality, and that it is, of course, the way you are looking at it right now. My assignment for you is to look up and review Lawrence Kohlberg's Stages of Moral Development, Piaget's Theory of Moral Development, James Fowler's Stages of Faith, and meme theory, particularly by way of spiral dynamics and integral theory. As you read about these theories, think about where you fall within these frameworks. Is your current worldview structure serving you? Do you want to open and develop further? And P.S. A meme is not a cute poster. Memes are the building blocks of what human beings accept as reality or as describing reality. Memes are often unconsciously held. They change and develop over long historical time. The way people think, believe, and live about money are memes. Many of our money memes are hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. They are putrid and oppressive and plain lies. They are obsolete. The old money memes are not working anymore, if they ever did. As I guide you in adjusting your money energy in Stepping Stone 1, I'm also adjusting your money memes. If money is to enter your experience, your paradigm structure needs to permit it, not block it. At this point, don't worry too much about this development, other than applying yourself to the research of the great thinkers I listed. As you continue to listen to further video lessons and fulfill their assignments, your money-friendly worldview will naturally unfold. Next, expansion of world. One way to think of our lifespan development is that we pass through a greater and greater expansion of world. For an infant, their world is their mother or their primary caretaker. They have no sense of space. An older babe through toddler age begins to explore home spaces and yard spaces and may have a sense of other important spaces like the preschool or the playground. They learn to know other members in their nuclear family and a few other emotionally important people. Somewhere along about the age of 9 through 12, a child realizes that there is a whole world out there. That sense of a greater world is strengthened and layered all the way up through the age of at least 60. If one had traumatic experiences when attempting to expand world in younger stages, then the choice, whether conscious or unconscious, may have been to contract into a previous space or maintain the current world space and not venture further. If you wish to receive money, this will no longer do for you. The source of money flow is at the level of community and global space. It is important to be comfortable in those levels of space. Throughout our money, energy, and service work, which is Stepping Stone 1 and 2, I will gently move you into a larger world. I have no other specific assignment at this time regarding this except to ponder how this may or may not apply to you, i.e., what kind of space you allow for yourself currently. All right, this lesson regarding maturity has quite a few assignments, and which I presented over 2 videos. So I'm going to list them here in review. 1. Research cognitive distortions. Note any that apply to you. One by one, make more healthy cognitive alternatives your habit. 2. Create, renew, and or maintain friendships. If you don't already have a group of friends, seek out a group to participate in. 3. Never joke detrimentally about your age. No matter your age, see yourself as full of creativity and contribution. You can begin now. 4. Decide for trust, self-authority, and initiative. 5. Give yourself permission, a yes, for something you normally deny yourself. 6. Swing on a swing, slide down a slide, climb the monkey bars. 7. Touch and lift objects in your environment and reacquaint yourself with the sense of how interesting each thing is. Enjoy what is yours, the things that are yours. 8. Learn and accomplish some small thing. 9. Release your sense of inferiority. 10. Say yes when presented with opportunities to learn, to try something new, and to accomplish. 11. Freely play and imagine. Watch clouds, invent something with a cardboard box, keep an idea book, etc. 12. Do an adult initiation ceremony, if that appeals to you. 13. Try the things you felt barred from when younger. Explore your identity. Shop your style. Start working through a bucket list. Answer the question of who you are, not what others say. 14. Know that you have contribution that is needed in this world. 15. If you are in your late 30s or older, know that it's okay to be rethinking everything now that you have more experience and perspective. 16. Notice your personal emotional habits. 17. Research Lawrence Kohlberg's stages of moral development, Piaget's theory of moral development, James Fowler's stages of faith, and meme theory, particularly by way of spiral dynamics and integral theory. Where do you fall within these frameworks? Do you want to open and develop further? 18. Note what kind of space you allow yourself in the world. Are you open to expanding that world? As you can see, true maturity is not something that can happen in days, weeks, or even months. But begin working through these assignments, perhaps one a day or one a week. Don't rush through them. Then seek further healing as you may need regarding specific issues. There are some great healers in this world. There is so much healing material available in books and online. Focus on these assignments for a while before going on to the next money energy lesson. When you do move into the next lesson, continue working on the maturity assignments until you have fulfilled them. Goodbye for now. Welcome to the Pathway to Cash course. Visit my channel to start at the beginning of learning and practice. I can't guarantee results for you. Please discuss the principles and actions I share with your financial professional.